I'm just popping out chat now so I can see it.
Alright, let me know. I wonder if they can hear us. You think they can hear us yet?
Huh?
I said, you think they can hear us yet? Hope nobody got
audio. Everybody in. Yay. I've been sharing it all over the place.
Good deal.
Yep, I'm ready.
I wonder if they can just hear me or if they can hear you too.
I don't know. Can they hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Scream really loud. No. Heavy, deep breathing. Deep panting.
Hey! Hello! Hi, Karen. Yeah, they can hear me.
There's an echo, they say. Hold on, let me see if I can do this right here.
I'm echoing.
I'm probably echoing.
Got Forrest, Shane, Karen, Zero, Jeremy, Forrest. Woohoo!
Wendy is echoing.
Hey, Jim. Yeah, I'm in a tunnel, he says.
Let me see if I can get that echo
I sound
going.
okay now, Shane? Yeah, they're saying that I sound better now. Oh, now Rudy says that I'm echoing.
See, this good now?
Hi, Aaron.
All right.
I'm good now, Jeremy? Okay.
Oh, you're
Juan
good.
says that we're good now.
Good. Okay, that's what's up. That's what matters, man. If you're good, then we're good. I'm good. Like I said, this is not about me. They've already been listening to me for like 3 weeks straight. They're probably tired of my shit.
No, I'm not tired of you.
Oh, yeah. I
You
would be.
kidding? Come on now.
Game just seems cracked up for Wendy. Let me try this here. How about that? Is that better for Miss Wendy? Buffering for me now?
Is it still buffering?
Either way. Bam. We're live. Joelle's muffled, but Wendy's is
Hello,
good.
everybody.
Well, that's what it's about. It's about Miss Wendy being good, not about me being good. Y'all seen me, heard me talking for, what, like 3 weeks now? So it's about time to listen to somebody else speak for once. Let's see. It's all good. Just leave it. Good. We ain't touching nothing. Miss Wendy, first and foremost, welcome to the Just Right Experience. That's what we're calling these Friday nights at 9 o'clock, every Friday night. I thank you for being here, ma'am. You know, it's a pleasure to finally get to meet you. You know, it's sad that we've been in the same amusement park but on different rides, you know, so that's kind of how that goes sometimes, but I'm ever thankful to have you here. All your viewers that are out there, welcome to the Just Right Experience. Just a heads up, little forewarning, it's like no censorship or nothing like that here. We're going to talk about whatever Miss Wendy wants to talk about. It's not about me, it's about her. She is my guest, and we're going to treat her as such. If you disrespect the lady, talk bad about her, the moderators out there, your ass will be gone in a heartbeat. No ifs, ands, what's, buts about it. I don't care who you are, where you are, or what you think you might be. Let's just remember she is a woman. We're going to respect her as such because this is my playground, my rules. All right? Miss Wendy, thank you for being here, ma'am. You having a good evening?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's very, very nice.
No problem, no problem. So tell everybody about yourself, because, you know, I don't really know that much about you, Miss Wendy.
Well, vape reviewer, just like yourself. Just basically, I just work full time, 100 hours a week, and I do reviews for the other time that I'm not sleeping, and just try to, be as knowledgeable and as helpful as possible to the vaping community. And I do my Monday live streams, and pretty much everybody that I'm seeing that's in my Monday live streams is here. Hello, everybody. And I watch all of you. I watch you. I watch, the vape team, Mike, everybody. I'm just pretty much just me. Thank you, Meg.
Well, that's the most important thing, man. As long as you remain yourself, that's something I was advised a long time ago to just, hey, be who you are, man, and if people like you, they'll gravitate to you. Some people may not pull hundreds of thousands of people, but those that do appreciate you, they'll gravitate to you, and things will build organically,
Definitely.
What are you vaping on? Let me ask you that.
Oh, well, somebody just told me to show my birthday present. This was actually made for me.
They put you on the box?
Yeah, they put Wendy Vapes. This is a Wonder Woman, which is
No, that's Wendy Vapes. I can tell. Look, see right there. Like side by side. You see that? I seen it.
But they made me this, so they wanted to see the hybrid. So there it is. Absolutely beautiful. Big Mike's Box Mods made this for me. They're the ones that made my girl mod, or my angel and demon. And so for my birthday, they sent me this. And I'm vaping on my Aromomizer Plus that I've been vaping on for 2.5 years. Love, love, love this RTA. It's one of my favorites. So I've got that. I'm vaping on a couple of the Sabores del Encanto, a couple of those flavors, and a couple Mick Mods, and my juice, of course. My cheesecake can't be without my cheesecake. And of course, my Profile RTA. And my Profile Unity RTA. Not saying, but.
Well, thank you for that, man. I greatly appreciate your support. I did watch a review on both of those products whenever they're released. I try to make it a point. I can't say I watched every single review because you go punch it in now and there's a list of them.
Oh, yeah.
But the first month, 2 months or so, I try to go through there and watch everybody that I could. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to look over something that at one point was in this brain and, was able to come to light. I'm ever appreciative of individuals like yourself, because you guys relay information to the consumers, the community, such as myself, because I don't ever consider myself like a reviewer, just much more like a member of the community that's loud as hell and likes to piss people off sometimes, that ain't afraid to say what it is and what it ain't. The reviewer side of things, y'all can look over pros and cons of everything and give your professional advice by the number of products that you've seen across your desk over a certain period of time. And, I know nothing comes overnight for you, man. You are a single mother, married, divorced, widowed. Like, how's that go? Like, I know you do have children.
Yeah, I've got 3 girls. I am single. And that's pretty much it. In this life, I have to be single. Everybody gets jealous of me being on the phone all the time. It's like, I gotta answer people. I can't help it. That's like my biggest part. So that kind of ruins a few relationships, but I'm not gonna stop. So it was there before them. It'll be there after them, and that's the way it is because it's part of who I am. So that's it. But.
So may I ask, what led you to vaping? What made you want to start vaping? Was it like just a health decision you seen, or was it something you seen trending, or kind of, up and coming, somebody put you onto it, or what? Do you remember what, was your turning point to say, hey, you know what, I really want to start this vaping thing and try this vaping?
Honestly, it happened on the way to find a nail salon. I was looking for a new nail salon. I had seen somebody vaping from work, and they had those old pen styles that leak. And they were complaining about it and everything, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't want one of those. And I was like, you know what? I'll quit when I'm ready to quit. And right now, I'm not ready to quit. And I used to tell them that. When I'm ready to quit, I'm going to know that I'm ready to quit. And nobody can tell me or force me or anything like that. So I had looked stuff up online. I'm like, really, I don't know what to get. So I know what it's like for new, smokers that want to transition and they don't know about anything. That's why for me, I don't mind showing pods. I don't mind reviewing them because you know what? If it was a pod that I had seen, I would have gotten it and started, vaping way beforehand. But being scared of the items that were going on then, there wasn't pod systems. It was full-on kits. And it looked scary to people. If you didn't get a pen, then you got a full-on kit, and it's scary as a new vapor. And I had looked it up, and then I didn't think nothing of it. My youngest had been wanting me to quit for a long time, and kept complaining about it, but it didn't stop me. And then I was on the way to a nail salon, and I looked to my right. I was literally on the far left lane, looked to my right, and there was a smoke shop or a vape shop. It was called E-Smoke. And I looked over, and when the light turned green, I crossed all 3 lanes, went into the plaza. I had 6 cigarettes left in my box, and for me, whenever I got under 10, I always went and bought another pack, or I always had a carton or something. And that day I only had 6. And I went in, and the first thing I told the girl was, I want something that's going to keep me off of the cigarettes. I don't want to go back to smoking. I need something that's going to keep me off. I have no reason to go and buy another one. And I don't want a pen. Don't give me a leaky pen. I need something that's going to make me quit. And I walked out of there with the Kangertech top box, battery charger, extra batteries, extra coils, the tank, everything. I spent about $175. I wasn't planning on it either. By the way, I didn't get my nails done, but couldn't afford it after that.
What time frame was this? Was this like 2014, 13, 12? What kind of time frame were we looking
at? 5 years ago.
So it had been 14?
Yeah. 5 or 6 years, maybe almost 6.
Wait a minute.
It's like a little over 5, yeah.
You couldn't have been old enough 4 years ago and 14, 5 years ago to buy tobacco products. There's no way.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't be. No way. I'm calling BS on that one, folks. She bought those illegally.
So yeah, I can buy them. But and I used to buy them when I was 13. So yeah, it was. Whew. But it just that was it. And I said I need something that's gonna do it. And the girl was like, just start at 25 watts. And one day I was already at 45 watts, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. I had a problem with it, and I went in, and I'm like, I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to smoke. I carried those 6 cigarettes in my car door for 6 months without touching them. And I went in the next time, and I wanted to try a flavor, and the guy only had an RDA. This is like not even a week later. Had an RDA. He's like, here, you can hit it off of this. I'm like, okay. I didn't know what an RDA was. I knew nothing. A week later, I was already building my coils, wicking, and everything else, because it just, the flavor got me. It was like, wow, compared to a tank that I just started, this is amazing. And I started literally binge watching every YouTube video on any product that I could for 4 months straight. And I would wick, I would build. Within 4 months, I was making my own Clapton coils. It was just, I was just gone. It was like, that was just, it was my time. And
so your transition from analogs to vaping, was it like a sudden thing? You were able to say at the end of that pack you were done? Was it something you tried gradually, or was it something you just, like a light switch?
Cigarettes sat in my car. I never touched another cigarette from that.
Did you carry them with you for a while?
Yeah, I carried them to show that I wasn't gonna do it. Because when I had the problem with my vape that I had to take it back, I had the 6 cigarettes still in my car, and I was at work. And I was paranoid. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get to the vape shop, which I work an hour and a half away from home. So it's not like, I'm around the corner. And that's the only place that I knew that I trusted. So I wanted to go back to the same spot. So I literally did not smoke any of my cigarettes, and I ran over there. They fixed it because it was under warranty. It was something with the tank. It was under warranty, so they swapped it out real quick for me, no problem. Found out about the RDA, tried some more flavors, got some more flavors. But I was on vaping from the day that I started. I never smoked another cigarette. And I never wanted to.
I'm not sure if many people know this or not, but I admit to at one point in time I had a Vicodin habit. I was in a really bad truck wreck and tore my back up and was prescribed Vicodins and just had like a hard time getting off of them Vicodins, But whenever I made a conscious decision, I quit cold turkey, not with no medication or no rehabs or anything like that, just it was a conscious decision that I made that I was going to stop. But I broke one in half, and I kept half of one with me all the time for probably a better half a year, year and a half. I could have gone to jail over that little half of a damn pill, but it was something that just having it gave me a comfort it was kind of weird. I asked people who convert from smoking to full-time vaping, if they carried that cigarette or pack of cigarettes with them for a while, just out of curiosity. That's why I asked that question. I wasn't being nosy. I'm just curious of the habits that we have when we're breaking addictions such as nicotine and tobacco,
Right.
as to how we deal with that. The fact that I vape 3 milligrams in just about everything that I own, even mouth to lung stuff or direct lung, it's always going to be 3 milligrams for me. But I know some people that are on zero. And it makes me wonder: is it the fact that in my head that I'm keeping 3 mils around, or 3 nic level around, so that I can be satisfied if I needed it, or do I really need it anymore? Am I to that point now where I can back off of nicotine and go without it? It's something I'm not willing to try right now, but it's
Honestly,
very reminiscent of the transition from analogs to that versus weaning myself off and quitting not weaning, but just quitting cold turkey in general, to the Vicodin habit that I suffered for many years. It was a debilitating disease of such. And it's funny how we see the stigma of methamphetamine addicts and heroin addicts and the guys addicted to the pills, popping pills and Xanax and whatever it may be. We see them with this stigma of like, oh man, they're pissing their life away. When is that stigma going to be flipped onto analog smokers that are smoking traditional tobacco, cigarettes, combustibles, with all the carcinogenics that are contained within? It just baffles me in my brain that we can look at somebody who has a drug problem one way, but we look at a cigarette smoker another.
Yeah, but society and the FDA and the governments and everybody made cigarette smoking acceptable. So that was an acceptable thing. When the pills and everything came out, it wasn't acceptable because it did harm individuals in the sense of, you might fall asleep at the wheel, or, you're popping the pills so, you can't take care of your kids. It started becoming a big epidemic. But when it was smoking, it was okay. They were flaunting it. Marlboro has been flaunting it for how many years? Salem's, things like that. It became okay from society. So being that they accepted it, that's what made the difference. But I feel the same way. Smoking, it's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. I know what vaping's done for me. That's why I advocate. That's why I push it. That's why I try to stress to everybody to fight for our rights to vape. It's been such a stress reliever for me, just knowing that I'm not smoking anymore. I'm not smelling that smell anymore in the back of my throat. It's a total, 360 change for me, and it's beneficial. But for me, I tried to go to a 0 because I am in a 3 also, but the flavor wasn't the same. I don't feel that the flavor was the same. So for me, I have to have the flavor, because the flavor is what does it for me. Knowing that I've got those flavors, if it's muted, I don't want to vape it. So I like the 3 milligrams always work for me. It's given me better flavor than the zeros. So I stuck with the 3.
Good deal. And how you've been vaping for 5 years now, you say, correct? At what point in your vaping career did you decide that you wanted to do YouTube reviews?
Yep. I think it's a little over 5 years, yeah. But I also did, since I stopped smoking, I've never gone into the gas station where I buy my cigarettes. Because for me, it wasn't about just quitting the cigarettes, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not the stress, it's not I'm not smoking, it's the routines. The routines is what keeps you smoking, even if you're vaping or you're trying to vape. The routines are giving you the excuse to go back to smoking, because you're getting into those routines again. You literally have to change all your routines when you go from smoking to vaping. If you used to smoke right after you eat, you have to change that routine. If you used to smoke, when you first wake up, you have to change that routine. A lot of people, that's the hard part. It's not really the stressors, it's the routines. I won't go into the same gas station where I used to buy my cigarettes, because I know what it looked, I know what I used to do. To me, it's like a bad memory. It's almost like having PTSD. You don't want to relive it. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel. So I cut out anything that was, to me, a negative when it came to smoking.
That's very, very informative knowledge to the viewers out there, and to understand everybody's story is different, and I fully understand that, and I thank you for sharing your story with me. When you spoke of routines, I didn't realize how much a routine plays a role on us until a couple weeks ago whenever I was given a separation from my daytime job. And to wake up that next morning, the day after, and like put my pants on and my boots on and walk out the door to go to do something that I'm no longer doing.
Yeah,
The
it's
routine of
automatic.
it is, and that wasn't like given like a choice in the matter, so to speak. Like that was a done deal, and it wasn't going to be like I could wean myself from working or something. It was just going to be like a cold turkey situation, and it makes me wonder, like you say, the routine. Are we addicted to routines as well? And I'm glad you shared that, because like I said, that was a very, very tough. Even now, I mean, we're a couple of weeks out, and it's still tough
Yeah.
for me to not be in the same routine that I had been before. And
Mhm.
anybody
Well,
out there
maybe you
struggling with it,
stop.
know that if she did it, if I did it, if most of these people viewing did it, and I'm seeing some comments from people out there that, have drug addictions as well, that they credit vaping with breaking them of that habit.
Yeah.
Man, if that's something that's done for you, when people ask you to share your story, don't always just share the story of you stopping smoking by going to vaping. Share the story of you fighting a drug addiction with vaping in your corner. The fact that that helped you with that, and I think that's something that needs to be shared more often. People are afraid to admit that they have drug habits or issues of that nature. I'm not afraid to admit it. At one point in time, I really kept it close to the chest. But once I was able to beat that addiction, it was something I was very proud of, to know that, hey, I did that, and I did that cold turkey. And I was vaping. It's like, so it may have been the vaping that helped me break away from that too. So I always share that those stories, guys that are out there that are saying that, share that story with others so they may have that option too. It's right now we're in the biggest fight. We're seeing stuff left and right. I don't know if you were made aware today that the Rod Man from Vape Radio, today was his last
Yeah.
broadcast on Vape Radio. And that was really bothersome to me. Uh, Spoke on the fact that these manufacturers are afraid, they're letting employees go left and right, they're cutting back, and he wasn't spitting just lies there. He was spitting facts, because I'm seeing it a lot in major distribution companies, that are downsizing their manpower, their force, in anticipation for what's ahead. And to me, that kind of goes against the grain. You don't lower your soldier count knowing you're going into battle. You know what I mean? If anything, you amplify and you reinforce that, and you have backups upon backups, and let people know that, hey, look, this is the lives it's going to affect. We're standing united to fight, to make sure that we still have this industry around. I don't think that that's registering in a lot of people's mind, a lot of these companies' minds, these PMTA worries and fears and scares. I hate it. I hate to see people losing their job, because like I said, I just went through that myself. So to see others going
Yeah.
through it as well, man, that's heartbreaking for me, because other people, some may not, be afforded an avenue in order to still provide for their family, or their separation from that
Right.
job may not have came with the same benefits, and they got to go home and break bread and tell their little ones that, hey, look, I got to go find a new way to break bread. Daddy can't provide for the family anymore. I got to go do this, and that bothers me a lot. I come off maybe viewed as, oh, he's a hard ass tough guy. At the end of the day, man, I'm a big teddy bear. I worry about the well-being of others before I worry about my personal well-being. I want to ensure that my loved
Correct.
ones, which is the community, because I'm one of you guys are family to me, is always taken care of. And even on the industry side, I love the community more than the industry, but I see the people that work at vape shops not as industry insiders. Those are community. Those are people that are doing it. They're
Mhm.
providing, making a living off of that. And to see all this last week, just through messages, hey man, I'm no longer with so and so distribution, or hey man, I'm no longer with so and so suppliers. Major distributors and suppliers. It's really, really bothersome to me and really scary. Do you have any personal friends on the inside? Have you seen that firsthand? Matter of fact, the vape shop that you started at, are they still in business today?
Yeah, they're still in business. I've actually got like a couple more around me now, but they're all in business right now. I don't think they're taking it too seriously because they're smaller, more like a mom and pops sort of thing than the bigger, known with websites and things like that. But I know I am scared, but I'm one of those people that's like, I'm scared. I'm doing everything I can to fight for my right. I'm trying to share with as many people as I can to fight for the right to vape, to try to keep this going, and I gotta have faith. If you're not gonna have faith, that you're gonna lose it. I know how much this benefited me. I know how much it's benefited friends of mine. I know how much it's benefited people that I've met in the community that have had addiction problems. It's helped them transition. So I just pray every day that it doesn't come to that. Today I did see a post, Zophie posted something that they're actually suing the FDA for coming up with the PMTA or PTMA, that thing. They're suing them. I told everybody when they were freaking out a month ago, let's just wait. We just have to give it time for somebody else to bring forth a lawsuit. Once that happens, it extends everything. So what I'm praying for is for those things to happen, which is happening now. It's now happening to where we're fighting. They got to get up and fight. And the reasons that they were fighting were for the same things that you were saying. The amount of jobs that are going to be lost, the amount of livelihood that's going to be lost. They're going to be hurting more people than they are helping people. They keep saying, about this and that. They're talking about teen vaping and stuff. First of all, for me, and I, don't get me wrong, and I hope nobody hates me for saying this, but it all starts from at home. It has nothing to do with the vape community, the vape shops and all that. It starts from home. And I never see any word of what's happening at home. Do the parents even know that they're doing this, that they're hanging out, that they're buying street stuff? Where, to me, it all starts from home. Just like alcohol. We had an alcohol problem with teens before, and it starts from home. They were stealing it from the parents. And that's where it comes from. It's like you got to start somewhere, and you can't just reach out and blame one part of it that you can't control because nothing else is being controlled. No, how are they getting away with it being at school and nobody seeing them with it at school and confiscating it?
Can I ask you a personal question? How old are your daughters?
Very old.
And I wasn't being intrusive with that. The reason I was asking is like, if you're having daughters that were at home when you were vaping, if it was an issue, like, hey, look, you ain't touching this is mine regardless. I had a 17-year-old stepdaughter that lived in our house till she went off to college, and even the day before her 18th birthday, she asked me, she said, can I have a vape? I said, not until you 18. And at that, whenever she turned 18, I loaded her up like a 24 on an RDA and cranked it up to about 120 some odd watts. I mean, I let her have it. And she coughed and coughed and coughed. She said, I hate this. I'm good. I want you to hate it. I don't want you to become...
Okay, but it started at home.
Yeah. I waited until she was 18 before I let her try it.
Mm-hmm. No, my youngest just turned 18 and doesn't like smoking, vaping, nothing like that. So I don't have to worry about that. My other ones are older. They were smokers. I'm actually trying to convert them from smoking because they are addicted to smoking. They've been smoking for a few years. But then again, they started smoking after they left. They weren't, it was something I would have seen in the house. I didn't see it. I didn't smell it. And smoking, you can smell it everywhere. So it doesn't matter if your friend's smoking, you smell like it anyway. So, after they left the house, whatever they did because they were grown, I couldn't stop them from doing. Just like, if they're out there smoking blunts, I can't stop them. It's not, they're adults now. But when they're in my house, I'm stopping. So I just feel like you have to start it somewhere and to just turn around and go, and blame a company or blame the industry for something that's not stopping from home. I don't get that.
I don't buy the whole, anytime they want to do something manipulative, they bring the children into play, and it's like a smoke and mirrors game right now. The children are the smoke, and the big pharma and big tobacco, those are the mirrors right now. They want to throw the smoke and then pull the mirrors. And I've never been a fan of that. Like you said, when your children left home, what they do is what they do. Well, just two different parenting styles. As a proud father of three 19-year-old daughters, all going to be 20 this year, rolling on 20 really fast. uh, I still involve myself with what they do away from my home. Like, I may not have total control over it, but I will let them know that, look, whenever you're out and about, you conduct yourself like a proper young lady's supposed to, because you're still a representation
I could stop them from
of
smoking. I mean,
my household.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I've had one that I found out got into drugs, was hiding it really a lot from me. Like, I couldn't tell, and I kicked myself. I'm like, how did I not know? But she was fighting to make sure that I didn't know. But once I found out, it was squashed. You know what I mean? I took care of it. I was there for her. I stood by her side. I made sure that she got away from that. She got off of everything. The other one, my middle daughter has tried so many times to smoke a blunt and she throws up, so I think it's just God's will. So she can't even handle it to try it. So she hasn't done, so basically, but the cigarette smoking, I couldn't stop them when they were out and they were out with their friends and things like that. But, I mean, in a lot of us, if we all admit it, we all started smoking teenage years. We all started as teenagers. Not all of us. I want to say about 75% of us can say that we were teenagers. Out of that 75%, almost all of them can say they were under 15.
I have to agree to that. I started smoking at a very young age. Hell, by 15, I was already a father of twins. So, like, I did everything in fast forward, like really, really fast forward.
So a lot of us.
But what bothers me? What was the translation of?
You gotta expect.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, where did it get lost in translation of? I want you to do better than me. Like, I've really drove it home with my children that, look, I don't want you to do as good as me. I want you to do better than me. And if you go have children at 15, the odds of you doing as good as me or better than me are slim to none. I'm not saying that, I can do anything, but I remember the struggle, the times. It was a different lifestyle, different time frame, and I don't want that for them. I wanted them to do better than I've done. And I think that's the biggest issue right now with the parenting across the board in general, is that desire to have your children not do as good as you, but better than you. Like, I don't want my children being moms at 15 or dads at 15. I want them to do better than me. I want them to graduate, go live life, learn a little bit, put some knowledge in your brain, so that when you do have a child, you can share that knowledge with them. It's I think that's a big issue right now, that's been lost. That moral, that value instilled within yourself to want to see your children do better than yourself. And I don't know if it's because we're like in a rat race, we're keeping up with the Joneses and being, I'm better than anybody. Nobody's done as good as me. I can do nothing in this world greater than the accomplishment of my children. If I do great things and my children don't, guess what? They're a perfect representation of how I raised my children. That was the one job I was given, and I failed at it. So, I want to make sure that translates between me and my children, and that they do the same for their children. Like code of conduct and street creds and values and codes or whatnot. Women and children being off limits and standing up, pulling chairs out. If I'm in a seat and my boy's in the seat, the lady walks in, we are both on our feet before that lady's looking for a chair. She has to understand that our chair is her chair at any given moment. She ain't got to be pregnant. She ain't got to be old. She ain't got to be young. It doesn't matter. A woman in general, a lady in general, even a little girl is entitled to my seat before I ever let her stand on her feet while I'm sitting on my tail. And I want my boys to carry that on as well. Same with the mentality of doing better than dad done. Like knowing that, hey, you're the most important thing on this planet, kid. Do better than I've done. And so that can be passed on for generations. We don't have to continue in the trend that we are now. We can change, we can rewrite history by starting today. Your actions today is yesterday's tomorrow, or tomorrow's yesterday. So when that whole saying of you can't change history, you can't rewrite history, bullshit. Start today, do the right thing today, and then moving forward, continue to try to do the right thing every day, or better than you've done the day before, and before you know it, you've put a stop to a plague that has spread through many years of generations of your family or whatever it may be. You've put a stop to that. Like growing up, my mother on food stamps, welfare, all this home stuff, you know, like I made it a very, very good point that I was never going to do that. I was not going to be one that raised my, nothing against people out there to do that, but I was raised that way, you know, and I knew that my mother could have done better than she had done. I didn't want that for my children, so I put a stop to it, to get up every day and make something happen. Every day, do the right thing every day. And what's happened is, I got 3 daughters out there that are bougie as fuck. They don't want nothing cheap. Everything they want's expensive as hell. So whoever comes to the plate to take their hands in marriage one day, he's gonna have to come with his A game, because they're not gonna settle for somebody sitting on their ass all day living in their mama's basement. They've been shown what to expect, and I'm proud of that, you know. And I know you're doing everything you can do with your girls, and you continue to do so. You know that I have a dad that still smokes, so I understand losing battles, you know, like I do. My own father, he still smokes, and it drives me insane. But I know it's a battle that I've lost. It's not a battle that I don't revisit as often as I can, but it's one that I've lost. And don't give up on them. You know, continue to stay with them, stay on them, and even if it's the last thing you do, go, hey, look, I really wish you want to smoke. I really wish you want to smoke. Because as a grown man today, I still don't want to disappoint my mother. You know.
I do that all the time, but it kills me, because before vaping, you know, I didn't see the government's going after like big tobacco, because all the kids were smoking. All of them were smoking. Teenagers were all smoking. We know this. They were buying alcohol. Nobody went after the government for that, or big tobacco, or anything like that. Where was the FDA then?
No telling.
Exactly.
No telling.
It's all about money.
I'll tell you where they were at. They were at the bank. That's where the FDA was at. They was at the bank. They was making profit on that. Whenever something is profitable to somebody, I spoke on this on Rod's thing today on Vape News Radio whenever I was saying goodbye to Rod, you know, my farewell to him, and, you know, wishing him the best in his endeavors, is that we live in a generation now where it's profitable to be quiet, profitable to be a yes man, you know, and sometimes you have to sacrifice profits for the right thing, you know, like where's your integrity lie? That's what it's called, integrity. And it's not what you do when there's 10,000 people around. It's what you do when you're one-on-one. Like, are you still a man of integrity or a woman of integrity, of high moral values, or are you a sellout? Are you going to be one of those, whatever it is, for $1? You know, I don't know about you, but, you know, I was also raised on that mindset of, you know, don't do nothing for free if you're good at it. You know, like, if you're good, you're good, and know you're good, and charge for your time, make sure you're compensated. And that's different. And I think that's a line that gets blurred a lot in our industry and community, of being paid for something that you were good at, and then being paid just to be a yes man, or to, you know, to be one in agreement all the time, to kind of shut up, hush money, so to speak. Let's get on a lighter note. What are you drinking?
Just soda.
Well, I was trying to lighten the note.
I was like, because you got to remember, it's 10 p.m. here. It was 9 p.m. over there for you. So 10 p.m. and I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning for work. If I was to grab a drink, we might not make it through because I was tired. So,
I had no idea. What do you, if you don't mind me asking, what is your daytime occupation and what field is it in? Let's just leave it at that generalized field.
I work for a commercial insurance company. I'm an underwriting assistant.
Good deal. I've dealt with them as well, you know, umbrella policies and so forth when I was out independent contracting, making sure that I had $1 million umbrella coverage, $10 million umbrella coverage, and so forth, you know, as required for different companies and different lines of work.
Yeah.
So
that's what I do. I do that part, but we do it for aging services. So for long-term care, so for older individuals, and, you know, home health facilities and skilled nursing facilities and stuff like that. That's what I'm doing now. I've actually been with the company for over 14 years now.
So what has come across Miss Wendy's desk in the last 6 months that is just like vape-wise that you're like, you know what, that's pretty cool. I like that. That's different. You know, what's some things that have stood out on Wendy's list in the last 6 months of 2019 thus far to say, hey, you know what, that's pretty cool.
The profile and the profile unity.
I hope you got them sooner than 6 months ago.
Yeah, no, that's the only ones that I've really been like, wow, that's like crazy. Like, who didn't think of that before? And every time I look at them, like the profile unity, it hasn't even been 6 months yet for that, if I'm not mistaken. The profile, yes, but not the unity. Being able to convert it into an RTA, I thought was before I saw it, I was like, I need to see how that's going to work. I know how it works on this, but I need to see how it works on that. But to be honest with you, there hasn't been anything else that's been like, wow, blown me away or anything. It's pretty much like, oh, that's cool. I mean, there's been some designs where it's like, wow, that's neat, but it doesn't work right. So, I mean, I've seen things and I'm like, wow, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't really keep my attention span. And there's been a few of those, and I'm like, this would be so awesome if it worked right. It would just be the concept's there, but it's, you know, you're either not getting flavor or you're not getting that satisfactory vape. So I don't know. I'm kind of, I literally gravitate to a lot of like I told you, this Aromomizer Plus, it's still my top #1 for 2.5 years.
Is that all-time vape top #1? Your all-time #1?
I always have it. For 2.5 years, I always have it. Not necessarily on here, but I always have it. Anybody in chat that knows me knows that I've had, this is actually the special edition. I had the original for 2 years, and then I got the special edition, which is the upgraded version of it that has the 15 mil glass. Traveled with it and everything because of the fact that it was a big capacity, but it didn't look gigantic. You know what I mean? So that to me is very important. E-liquid capacity, ease of build. I love the postless deck. I love how it wicks. It's perfect for me.
So what's your go-to all-day vape juice? Or e-liquid, my apologies. E-liquid, your all-day e-liquid, like if you had one take with you, what are you taking with you?
My royal cheesecake.
And who is that by?
By me.
By you? I didn't even know you had a juice line. No, you should have been plugging that from the get-go.
Yeah, this is Queen by Wendy Vapes. I have 5 flavors, but yeah, so that's pretty much, that one I always go back to. It doesn't matter what else I'm vaping, I always go back to that one. My Royal Mojito, it's a watermelon mojito. That's another one that's one of my line that I vape all the time. Another juice is the strawberry cornflake, which I've been out of for like the longest time. The icing on the flake strawberry, yum. But I've been out of that one for a long time. But for me, like my juices have very little sweetener in it. So I like it better because it's not gonna gunk up my, I can literally put it in, this right here has had the same, this is what I vape it in. And this has had the same cotton and coil in there for a month and a half.
Yeah, whenever I was prototyping the profile, like the little inner circle of folks that I was communicating with, I would tell them like, man, I'm like 3 months on the same cotton and wick. I thought I was like full of shit or something. I'm like, I'm not kidding, guys. I'm like 3 months on the same mesh and same cotton, you know, for the longest time because I had a little bit of mesh, but I didn't have much, and I found that I wasn't needing it.
It depends on your juice. It depends on the sweetener in your juice. Mine has very little sweetener, so mine lasts. So I know that for like something like this, I constantly just fill it back up. So it's never left this. That's the only thing that has ever touched this.
You got Batman's juices.
Have it in this. I did switch it out just recently.
You got Batman's juice e-liquids?
Yeah.
I seen that you did.
It now.
Which of every one that he has, which one's been like your gravitate? Huh? Which one's been your gravitate?
They're all very, very sweet. They're all very sweet, so I can't make them all-day vapes because the sweetener, you know, the sweetness, it gets to be a bit much by the end of the night. I can vape them all day, but by the end of the night, I have to switch over, which is why I like my cheesecake. But for this line, I'm going to tell you right now, the Café con Leche is my #1. That's like, oh, what? That one is my #1. And the other one, which I don't have with me, is the queso, the flan de calabaza. That one also. And then there's another one, the queso. That one is, those 3 are like my favorites.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to make me look horrible whenever I get Batman's e-liquids. Because my mother's Hispanic, my dad's white. But I cannot roll my tongue like that to say them words and pronounce them words you just pronounced. Because Batman's like, damn it, Joel, you let me down, brother. How you going to do that? Because I promise you, I'm going to murder them when I try to pronounce those. They thought Fagin was bad? Shit. When I go to pronouncing those, it is not going to be pretty.
Well, what's funny is I'm not Hispanic anyways. I grew up in Miami, so I grew up around the Cubans, and now I live in like little Puerto Rico. So I'm constantly speaking English and Spanish, but I'm actually German, Italian, Swedish, Norwegian, Lithuanian.
How the hell do you break it down that far? Did you do that one in DNA, Ancestry, 21andMe, and all that other good stuff, or what?
Well, for my father, I'm German and Italian. On my mother's side, I'm Swedish, Norwegian, Lithuanian. So yeah, mix them all together. I got all that, but I only speak Spanish and English. So.
I did that whole 21andMe or whatever that thing is called, that Ancestry deal. My wife done it. Me and her did it for Christmas. It was our Christmas gifts to each other, or I guess our Christmas gifts in general. I wouldn't have chose to do that. I didn't really care. But the only part that I claimed that was mine was the 1% African American. I do claim that very, very proudly.
But I grew up speaking it. By the age of 12, I was already speaking Spanish. So, and especially growing up in Miami, I was a lot more fluent then because everybody spoke Spanish. But, so to me, I know them all. I actually cook Spanish all the time. That's just who I am. I listen to Spanish music all the time. Bad Bunny, what? But yeah, so, I mean, I sit there at work, I'm like, somebody turned around, they were like, I need some music. I'm like, Bad Bunny. They were like, what? Get out of here, girl. Yeah, what? Gotta do it. So yeah. I grew up on freestyle. Freestyle is another one that I just love. That will never, ever die. That's just me.
Well, we're coming up on 9:52 right now, and I don't want to keep you too much. I know you do have to be up in the morning. But if you would leave...
No. I'm off tomorrow. You're good.
Okay, well then we can make this happen. Come on. In for the long haul.
No, I'm
I was going to ask you, if there's one thing you want people to take from you tonight, what would it be about Wendy that you want to get to the masses out there, for them to truly understand about who you are as a woman, what you stand for, what you represent, and what your ultimate goal in this vape tincture may be? Like, I mean, did you have like a set, out date, or is this something you plan to do for many, many years to come? I mean, you got products in the work. I mean, what's something you want people to know about Miss Wendy that even maybe your day-to-day viewers may not know about Miss Wendy?
Well, I would love to have a product. I've literally thought about it, but I can't come up with something that's like original, and that drives me crazy because I don't want to borrow from other people's ideas. I want something to represent me. I haven't thought of that. I would love that to be a reality, not because, of fame or anything like that, but because being that I help the community so much and I'm there for everybody, I would love them to hold a piece of me in their hand. You know what I mean? Not necessarily, but it's got to be good. If it's not good, I wouldn't want them to have it. But I wish I could be, a piece of me could be in everybody's life.
I had the same desire, man. I wanted a piece of me in everybody's mouth. I'm not going to lie. So.
That would work too. But anyways. And I'm not even picky. So there you go.
What seems to be your biggest obstacle in doing so? What do you say, like not being able to come up with your own original idea because you're afraid to borrow from somebody else? I'll tell you right now, Miss Wendy, do not be ashamed of borrowing from somebody else, because you have major manufacturers that are doing it on the daily with no sympathy.
I know, but then I hear all this stuff about them, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that, oh, she stole this idea. She stole. I don't want that to come, because the way that I am now, and for the people that know me now, I'm not one of those that goes and takes somebody else's stuff. I don't go after anybody's like viewers, that's just not me. And I don't want to be known as the female that goes after somebody, or that uses another. I don't want that in my, in anybody's mouth. That to me is really important. I want people to understand, like everybody wants me to come out with, because I'm an RTA lover, they want me to come out with an RTA. That would be what I want to come out with. But it's not as easy as just going out there and doing it. Like, I did start looking at some ideas. I wrote down some ideas, and then what I do is I go and research to see if it's been done and how many times. And every time I would come up with something that I love or something that works for me, it's been done 4 or 5 different times. I don't want to make it 6, because then it just becomes, what's so different? You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's where I'm at. That's why I respect you so highly for what you came out with the profile. Was like, wow, out there. It's crazy. I've been squonking since nobody else was squonking. I started with the Kangaroo Tech. The Kangaroo Tech, I think it was a 60 watt that didn't even have it. It was unregulated. I started with that. I had a Kangaroo Tech the 160 squonk mod. I did that. I mean, I was doing it way before anybody even thought about squonking. And I just love this. This is like the perfect device. It's perfect. It's to come out with something like that is just amazing. And I give kudos to everybody that comes out with just their own like special ideas. It's like the Nudge 22. I've got 5 of them.
You know,
and I use those for my juice review.
From being somebody who's had their product design or style or resemblance used over again, I can tell you personally, Mel, that I don't take any offense to that. You know, there's some people out there that get really, really upset about that. To me, it's a pride. It's an honor to see that happen. Like, to me, I don't have to. Why would I even be mad about that? I am honored to see other people opening their mind to the concept and accepting that concept. And I want you to know, personally, if you ever come up with something and you feel that it is like utilizing something, if you've made it better, or you don't have to make it better, because your style of vaping may be different than mine, and so that just goes down. You know, what appeals to you may not appeal to me, and vice versa. Just add a little bit of Wendy to it. You know, whatever it is, something that people can designate and relate back to Wendy, regardless of what the platform is, whether it be a goon style clamp or dead rabbit style post or profile style deck. That doesn't matter. What matters is that there's enough of it in it that represents who you are. And if I could give you any advice, that'd be the advice I'd like to give you, Mel, that don't be ashamed to say, because I've looked at other people's ideas many times over and said, man, I would like to do that, but do it this way. You know, and you know why I didn't do that sooner. It's just everybody has different reasonings for why they do things they do and why they don't do what they do. But do not ever be ashamed of that, man, when you have major manufacturers doing the exact same thing. You know, because from my creative standpoint, it doesn't bother me. I'm pleased to see people do that. Like, I say that wholeheartedly, and I think people think like it's like a ruse or rouse or something. That's just the way it is, man. I'm not going to be pissed off about that. Like, hey, if that's what you can do, man.
Because you're humble, and that's the way that you are. But for the majority, they aren't exactly that forgiving. But I mean, I love new ideas. I love to, like, another one that is, which I do love from this year, is the bulk RTA. Granted, it's actually the RDA in an RTA, but love it. I wasn't really fond of the wicking. You know, the wicking channel, that was like my biggest gripe about it. But after working with it for so long, it doesn't even bother me anymore. It's absolutely one of my, like, if I don't have my Romomizer Plus, I have that. So I love seeing the differences. I love showing the differences. My biggest thing is showing people how to wick and how to build. That's why I started my channel to begin with, was to show newer vapors, or vapors that wanted to convert to like an RDA or an RTA, how to build and how to wick properly. And it's been very beneficial for me, because I am a go-to person for wicking and building, because that was my passion. That still is my passion. I absolutely love doing that, and I will work my hardest to get the wicking just right, just so I can show people. Like, for instance, on the profile and the profile Unity, these actually have 2 videos each: the video of the review and the wicking video. I have both of these have different, you know, videos for. That's the only devices that I've actually went and did a second video on how to do the wicking, because to me, I knew that if somebody could get the wicking right, from everything I was hearing in the background, like, oh, it's got too much cotton, or oh, I can't get it right, or oh, I'm getting dry. When I kept hearing that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna help, you know, because they need to see how good it is. They gotta witness, you know, I don't want them to have a bad experience when they weren't doing it right, or it was just a tweak that they needed to make, and it would have made all the difference. So that, to me, is who I am. I'm there to help as many people as I can to get that enjoyable vape that they need to keep on vaping. That's mine. That's it.
We do have a super chat donation from Mr. Dave Satek. So awesome that your first guest is one of my local vape reviewers. Wendy's awesome. Glad to see another face on here finally. And he's crying. He's always a crying baby. But he said, just playing, you're my homie, Joel. Mad respect, Mr. Dave Satek, dude. I appreciate you being here tonight. Miss Wendy, I appreciate you joining me tonight for the Just Right Experience. You are my first guest on the Just Right Experience. So if you don't take anything away from it, know that you are. You may be the first and last guest, but you are the first guest at that. So thank you for that so much. I greatly appreciate you being here tonight. And like I said, the Just Right Experience is not about me. It's about you. Who's coming on the guest? I want to know as much as I can about you. It was a pleasure to finally meet you, and I wish you the best. You know, if there's anything I can ever do for you, please feel free to shoot me a message. I'm an open book. I help as many people as I possibly can when I can. I can't promise that I can make everything happen, but if it's something I can have, if I feel I can do something about it, I'll do something about it. And if you ever would like for me to be with you on your show sometime, let me know. I'll repay the favor to you. I firmly believe in that.
You definitely need to come on. I do Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 6 p.m. I think Central.
You just tell me whenever, when, and where, I'm going to make it a point to be there. If we can't, I'll let you know, look, I got something scheduled that day, but we'll try again for the next one, you know. But most definitely, thank you so much for being here tonight.
I've actually had a couple invites that I've sent out, and the people have said yes, but on the day of, canceled, so.
I'll cancel long before the day of. I won't cancel the day of. I'll cancel, like, look, I can't do that day, but because I plan everything out, try to plan everything out, you know, and know where I'm going to be at when I'm going to be there. So thank you again for being here tonight, Miss Wendy.
I'm sure everybody in chat would agree with me that they would love to see you as well, because like I said, a lot of these, I recognize them, and I love that they followed me over here. Thank you so much for joining us over here, and thank you so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it. I've been meaning to meet you for the longest time, and it's just that, like you said, our paths really didn't cross, even though we were in the same circle. It's just we were never there, you know. But I really loved meeting you and talking to you, and you know, you're just as humble as I thought that you would be. I think that you're just a great individual. I'm really, really proud of, you know, the items that you've made, the profile unity. You hit it out of the park. I couldn't be more prouder. But suggest you should mirror your Wendy side.
Don't pay no mind to that guy, Coil Image. You gotta understand, Coil Image is a grumpy 4'2" old man that lives by himself, and he has all the coolest vape gear. But man, he's a different breed, Miss Wendy. So I got love for Coil Image though. He's a very talented coil builder and has a really, really nice lineup of hardware. But I wouldn't take nothing he says seriously. That's one of my guys right there. Thank you so much for joining me, Miss Wendy. Is there anything you want to tell the people out there before we get out of here?
No, that's pretty much it. You can find me on Instagram. Was it Twitter? Where else? It's like every time I'm everywhere, but I'm nowhere. But I am everywhere. Also, I don't know if there's anybody out there, if you don't mind me sharing. I do have the only LGBTQ vape group in Facebook, actually anywhere on any of the social media platforms. If you are in the LGBT community and you're a vapor, please go ahead and try to find me on Facebook. If you go to my YouTube, it's under the description in my social media links. I always try to advocate that because there's really limited resources and other places to go, and I created it just for that. So yeah, that, and I'm everywhere else. Wendy Vapes Hangout, Wendy, I'm always on the go. I don't think I sleep.
Vaping Miner 999 says, "Oh, stop it! You're making me blush. Keep it cloudy, fam." As far as the LGBT thing, and I want to touch on this, Miss Wendy, because I think it's something we need. We're setting an example here, and want others to understand this wholeheartedly. Do you know, Miss Wendy reached out to me beforehand, and I asked her, you know, she had any links she wanted shared. Thanks to all the moderators out there that are, you know, sharing those links in the chat right now. And she said, you know, you can omit that last one if you're not with it, or, you know, it's not something you believe in. And I told her, I said, Miss Wendy, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not something that I was raised in and to believe in, you know. It's something that I've always kind of been raised a different way, you know, being Southern Baptist in the Bible Belt, just the way we were raised. But that doesn't mean that we cannot coexist and be on the same show together, and me be open to your ideas and you be open to mine, and accepting of both. You know, like, I'm not one to judge at all. Whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat, that's on you. I'm not going to tell you you can or cannot be whoever you are. As a matter of fact, I want you to be who you are. And I appreciate you for, you know, standing up for something proudly that you support and that you back wholeheartedly. You know, that you're leading by example, and I respect you for that a whole lot, ma'am. I really do. And the fact that, you know, you're like, look, I'm sharing it with you. That's to say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I support, and this is what I believe in. You know, and thank you, Miss Wendy, for being here. At this time, guys, I'm going to do what I always do at this time, and that is going to be remind everybody that if at any given point in time you have ever felt like you are not a somebody, I want you to know that you are a somebody in somebody's eyes, and that somebody is me. I absolutely love each and every one of you out there. Stay focused, stay blessed. Mr. Just Right One and Miss Wendy are checking in and checking out at the same damn time. We're out.